Hi, welcome back, everyone. This is the Keystone Crisis Intervention Team. I'm Kelsey, and we're starting up our Volunteer Spotlight series again. Here with me today is one of our volunteers, Keeley Rosenthal. Hi, Keeley.
Hi, good morning.
Um, we're so excited that you're taking part in this for us. Could you please tell us a little bit about your background and what you're doing currently?
Sure. Thank you for having me. My position and title is uh, Emergency and Court Services Coordinator for Bucks County. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, what is that?"
Sounds interesting.
So I say, like, by day, I'm a mental health delegate. We
Oh, okay,
handle
cool.
all of we handle all of the court proceedings that have to deal with mental health court, bringing people in on a 302, which is a psychiatric involuntary commitment. I'm a mental health delegate, but as part of that job, we supervise the crisis services throughout the county, whether it's site-based or mobile. So do some suicide prevention education for the county with the Bucks County Suicide Prevention Task Force. um, I'm also a co-chair of the Hoarding Task Force. So I kind of
Oh,
have like a bunch of different things under my role that,
thank you. Yeah, it sounds like you are really active in supporting victims and those in need in Bucks County, which we're so grateful for that. Um, yeah,
thank you.
yeah. So
Yeah.
specifically then, what brought you to KCIT and how long have you been involved?
Became involved with KCIT in 2009. I was actually for a year and a half during after I graduated with my master's, I lived in Chile, the
Oh my
long skinny
gosh.
country, long
Oh my
skinny country
gosh,
in
so
South
cool.
America.
That's
And
amazing.
I wasn't ready to get a real job yet. So I moved to Chile and I taught English down there for like a year and a half. And then I was ready to come back to the United States. And my first job as a master's level social worker was a crisis worker for Lenape Valley Foundation.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I started with them in 2009. And immediately I was afforded the opportunity to be trained in, and right when I sat down and started learning about KKIT and the model and what it's all about, I was like, yep, this is for me. This is right up my alley. So it sort of
Fantastic.
like formed me as a social worker and the direction of work that I wanted to do after, you had worked all these years to get your bachelor's in social work, your master's in social work, your license, and then you kind of go, what now? So any different title or specialty that I could be a part of that interests me was very appealing. And I think, KKIT obviously was right up my alley. And ever since then, I was really proud to be part of the team.
Since you've been with us, what is it like being a KK volunteer?
It's great. It has, it, you sort of get that when you get a call, when you get a deployment, you get that rush, almost that
Mm,
willingness to say, oh my gosh, something terrible has happened in my community or a neighboring community. And there's an opportunity where I am trained to help that individual through some of the hardest days that they might be experiencing.
mm,
Um, and to get to be in that vulnerable state of an individual, a group, a community that's suffering so badly from something that is so out of the range of their normal everyday
yeah.
really sends a community into shock. And so to get to be a part of the team to help restabilize a community is invaluable because not everybody gets to hear stories. Not everybody gets to really absorb the trauma with that community
Yeah.
to say, hey, we're here. We're going to sit with this terrible thing that has happened to your church group, your school, your family, your neighborhood. And we get to hold really fragile spaces with them, fragile spaces in terms of the amount of vulnerability that the people we work with within KCIT are going through. And like I said, these are some of the worst days. And in crisis, we get to do that as well. This kind of takes my crisis work that I've done for 15 years to the next level, to be able to go in and meet someone where they are physically too. That's the beauty where they're not coming to our offices, right? That we are going to them, and there's something really special and personal about going into people's spaces
Mm.
when maybe their spaces were already violated. And so we meet them in that space, and the physical space and the metaphorical space, right? And we get to hold a little bit of their pain for them and let them know it's not always going to feel like this, and that it will be okay. Um, so it's a special place to be.
Yeah.
And I feel honored to be able to hear stories and be a part of that healing and journey
I was
at the
just gonna say,
very
you talk
beginning.
about it like it's a privilege. Yeah.
It is, yeah. And I always felt that way as a crisis worker, listening to really terrible stories, or maybe it was a first disclosure of something that had happened in their lives that were traumatic. Um, you get to be a person of healing
Mm.
in a really terrible time, and sort of turn that table and create opportunities where tragedy was, and not turning around so that it never happened or never thinking about it again. It's more like having the memory that doesn't make us feel so yucky, but still retaining that memory for the opportunity of growth.
Has volunteering with KKIT had any sort of branching out or like surprising effects on your life?
That it really transcends beyond a criminal type of
Mm.
tragedy, but it also works really well in the tragedy of a loss of a suicide. So the Suicide Prevention Task Force has paired up with KCIT, and the task force will pay for KCIT services within the county that I was part of creating an MOU, or our services that KCIT would deliver, that we would work with KCIT to implore those services throughout our county. So it is a beautiful intervention. We do see the people that we're working with who have these really heightened responses.
Mhm.
Maybe the shoulders are up, maybe there's leg shaking, and anxiety. And by the end, we're able to see even the physical body come down a little bit into a more um, relaxed state of mind. So I think that was part of the surprising effect of how much number one, KCIT would be useful within my job,
Yeah.
and number two, how much I was able to integrate these relationships that I've built, or that we've built together between KCIT, the county, and then just Keeley Rosenthal wanting to, mesh skills or bounce. I know I have certain people that I can bounce things off of because maybe grief is their specialty, or, something else. And everyone in KCIT is just so passionate about what we do.
Thank you. It sounds like you've really managed to create an interesting, or not intentionally necessarily, but a mix of sort of taking the training and almost using it on like the companioning kind of module of what we do, in terms of having that individual one-on-one where you're not necessarily doing a GCI all the time, but
Yeah,
as individuals come to you or you go to them, that K-Kit training is there for you.
I'm thankful to KCIT for whether it's working with an individual, in my past experience, or working with a group, or integrating these services throughout Bucks County. I carry KCIT in my pocket with me wherever I go. I
Yes.
feel like a walking advertisement, and they didn't pay me to do this.
Oh my gosh, take it in your pocket. I love it, Keely. Thank you.
I always pull it out like a resource card.
We
We
love to
got
hear
people for
it.
that.
We're so grateful to have you as our volunteer, but also to know that, KKIT has become such a resource for you. That feels really wonderful for us, I know.
Yeah.
So we like to end on kind of a, a, a fun note. So if you have a fun or surprising tidbit about yourself that you would like to share with us.
So I have a fun fact. I am a small business owner.
Hmm.
Me and my husband own a pizza shop, Peppino's Tomato Pies
You
in
sound very
Chalfont.
busy, Keely. Are you a very busy person?
Yeah, and I'm a mom of two, so I bring my kids with me wherever we go.
Oh,
And sometimes they're making pizza, sometimes they're ringing people out at the register.
ah, oh, yeah,
If I
yeah.
could have named my shop Pizza with a Heart, I would have, but
Oh,
it's Peppino's Tomato Pies and style sandwiches. So we have really good sandwiches, really good
oh,
pizza, tomato pie. We have old fashioned cheese on the bottom that, but I think that the really fun work that we get a chance to do is when I can integrate the love of pizza, and we always need food, especially in traumatic events.
oh.
Food brings people together in many different ways.
You feel to me like a modern, like Renaissance, like woman, you know? You're like, I am supporting people and giving them pizza at the same time.
Well, we could say feeding the community in many different ways. I don't know,
Yes, absolutely.
metaphorically
Absolutely.
and physically.
I can't thank you enough for being with us here today.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
So
It never feels like a day of work when you're doing what you love. And I truly
truly,
love what I do. I love my job and I love my volunteer work that I do. And it's, and then I get to get paid for it, through my day work. So that's cool too. Whatever feeds your soul. So,
yeah.
keep doing what you're doing. And if you feel like you'd like to volunteer, for KCIT, we would love to have you. I just can't say enough good things about KCIT.
Keely, thank you so much.
Thank
Um,
you.
all right, we'll talk to everybody again soon. Thank you guys.
Bye.